All right.
But that's what I'm talking about. You can't let nobody else talk. He's over stumbling over a damn acronym.
Say Coward pussy testy, motherfucker.
And he was like, "Oh, they'll never be no good. They're like Kentucky or some shit like that."
I'm curious to see where all
Get prepared. People have scrolling.
So it's way on down there, right?
They're way down.
And welcome back to Smacking Off the Podcast. I'm your host, Shannon Madden. I'm joined with Doug Phillips and Bob Arthur. And we have an action-packed Week 1 breakdown. And I already know, I right out of the box, we're going to be talking a lot, I'm sure, about Colorado and Deion Sanders like the rest of the world is right now.
That was impressive. People were probably a little bit more excited than. I mean, he's got a lot of tough games this year.
He does, but at the same time, I think next up is Nebraska, and he should be able to handle that from what I saw yesterday. We're talking about TCU. Yeah, bear in mind, TCU was the runner-up for the national champion last year.
Oh yeah, and Colorado.
They made it to the game. They actually they didn't they didn't punch it in. Of course, Georgia was able to make that second run. Everybody's talking about they're going to make a third run. I don't know. I didn't really see a whole lot of that yesterday. But then again, I don't expect to see very much, not only from Georgia, but from any of our hopeful teams that actually do have a shot at the playoffs this season. The expanded playoffs this year, too. We don't have to talk about we're not boxed into 4 teams anymore, even though I feel like the committee's got it right since we've started that whole process.
Alex, are you there?
Hey, what's up?
Alex
How
Bryan,
do you feel about that? How do you feel about the committee, and did they get it right every time, Alex?
They got it right every time.
Come on, Alex, talk to us.
What are we talking about here?
We're just talking about the committee getting it right. I mean, I don't really see any need to expand this whole playoff thing because the committee's nailed it every single year.
I don't think they've nailed it every single year.
Oh, come on, man.
That's
of course they have. The SEC's been well represented every year, and we all know that's the greatest conference.
It's going to be even more represented in this 12-team playoff, so you have nothing to worry about.
I actually plugged the camera in because, this is the very first, I want to say, we've done this podcast for how long now? This is probably the very first time that I've ever actually cracked a mic and got on camera, which I'm like on the shittiest $4 camera that you can get at the thrift store. I don't even know where I got this thing from.
I mean, it looks like good quality
somewhere.
What we did
but I got my daughter's cool lighting in the background going on.
We went live one time and we had a camera and we aimed it at a lamp and it looked like a fucking UFO. And everybody was like, "What the fuck is that, man?" And I actually put an alien in front of that and I used it for our thumbnail several times.
Y'all see this shirt?
That is the most you shirt I've ever seen in my life.
It shows off my muscles too. I got muscles over somewhere.
And you got the disco lights in the back.
I had to kind of do that because this is actually, believe it or not, Timothy Bailey, our vice president here at College Football Dogs, is or he's the president. I don't know. He's something here. He's apparently in charge, from what people tell me. Timothy Bailey is going to be he's going to be sleeping in this very room right now, and so I've decided to do this show also with this shirt on, with no pants. So I've actually I've cranked it in this room quite a few times.
Oh Jesus!
You're flossing with Timothy Ray Bailey's pillow as we speak.
There's a lot of my DNA in this room.
You're holding up the high standards of the show there, Shannon. I commend you for that.
Thank you.
Timothy Bailey's got to be really happy. His team made Butch Jones cry yesterday.
And that's not an awful thing, even though Butch Jones isn't at Tennessee, so I feel a lot less strongly about Bujo. In fact, Bujo has been a savior on this particular program. I think we can all agree he is the originator, the sole creator of the Live Champions. Without him, we don't have the Live Champions. Doug, am I correct?
We will be coming at you live sometime this week. I think Tuesday. To bring the Live Championship. It'll be a 15-minute segment, and so you got to tune in for that.
That's going to be a great show.
I think we know who number 1's going to be already. I think it's going to be pretty overwhelming. Who knows?
Oklahoma, because Oklahoma won by like what, 1,000,000 points.
You know what? It's got to be Clemson if Dane don't fucking show up tonight. God damn it.
Now I will say this because everybody's riding really high on Coach Primetime right now. Where does Primetime enter into the into the rankings next week? They beat TCU as what, 14th, 17th? What were they?
Well, hold on. Let me try to look up here where Colorado even was.
I usually have like 3 devices going on right now, but I don't. Also, too, and one thing that this show has been sorely missing and that's the soundtrack. And we brought that back. I got my audience back, and I'm really happy about that.
Hell yeah!
So Colorado didn't even receive any votes outside of the top 25, so they're probably way down there. I don't imagine that they'll be ranked this week.
You got to be high, dude. You've got to be so high. The reason I'm saying is because TCU was 14. They were the defending national champion runner-up.
It just really depends where Colorado was ranked outside the top 25 this season.
Yeah, but Colorado's definitely going to enter the top 25 this week. You do understand that, right?
If they're like all the way down near the bottom,
Alex, they just beat a top 15 team.
I know, but they could still put other teams inside the top 25 before them.
Dude, there's nobody talking about any other teams right now, except for how fucking ranked Florida is.
They might throw them a bone. I mean, you might be right.
No, they're definitely going to throw him a bone. In fact, I think he's going to crack the top 20. Try that on for size. That was a decent TCU team that they took care of yesterday.
Yeah,
100 yards. Who knew that Deion Sanders had that in his balls?
Yeah.
That's incredible. That was the most incredible. Did you watch that game? Did you watch any of that game?
I got to watch the first half of it. I had a
that was the shitty part. The second half was where the money was.
My cousin,
that was an amazing second
my
half.
cousin broke the cardinal rule of life and had a fall wedding yesterday. So I actually had to watch the OSU game on my phone, and I didn't have any service to begin with, and I had to weasel the Wi-Fi password out of one of my cousins to actually even watch the game.
Did you want to talk about that Ohio State game?
Well, I'm not trying to overreact on the Kyle McCord thing right now. I don't believe by the Notre Dame game he will be the starter. I think Devin Brown will. Once Devin Brown's actually given an actual chance to show what he can do. It's clear that with this O-line being as makeshift as it is right now, that we're going to need a mobile quarterback, and Kyle McCord just ain't it. So while I'm willing to see what Kyle can do and if he can improve, I'm also of the mindset that, hey, we got a big game come week 4. And if we're going to make a change and going to start the right guy, now's the time. So yesterday was
a little bit of looking ahead, maybe.
Nah,
it was still a solid performance. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Yesterday was just ugly offensively. There's zero.
Exactly.
I've always said there's zero excuse for this offense to ever score below 30 points, and once again we did. And to an Indiana team who, I mean, they're probably going to suck. They're probably going to be like 3 or 4 win team, but I mean, they sold out to try to beat.
Yeah, but I mean, Ohio State wasn't playing UMass. There's a little bit of a history between both of those teams. That is a conference game. I mean, come on now. I definitely wasn't expecting a cakewalk there, and it still wound up a very decisive win for Ohio.
Shannon, is there any particular reason that you mentioned UMass?
No, nothing.
Because they were dog shit last year.
Doug, don't try to goad me into talking about Auburn. I don't think that's really necessary. I mean, what did we learn about Auburn yesterday? Hugh Freeze, the beginning of the Hugh Freeze dynasty. Everybody kept talking about Deion Sanders and Coach Primetime.
We didn't learn a fucking thing about Auburn yesterday. Nothing.
By the way, Florida State just scored again to tie it up.
Hugh Freeze doesn't blow games; he gets blown. You understand?
That's true. Your old pal Gus Malzahn had a good one though.
He did. UCF showed out.
Here's my hot take. Central
Power six.
Florida, and I said this on my show, Central Florida is going to win the Big 12 this year.
Wow. That's going to piss off Timothy Bailey if that happens.
What about TCU? I mean, that was
schedule.
just an amazing Colorado game that they just played. I mean, you're just going to count TCU out like that? Just wad them up, throw them in the trash. Huh?
I mean, everybody's got to just know that
Baylor's out of it.
Timothy Bailey definitely is banking on a Big 12 championship as they're departing this year.
No, they're going 7-5.
You don't think so?
They're going 7-5 at best. Yeah,
shit's gonna hit the fan when Bailey hears about this.
Brent Venables is not that guy. He's not.
Well, he was yesterday. That was a pick me ass final score. No two ways right about it. Please pick me for the top 10. Please, if you just put me in the top 10, everything will be okay, and I can take my job once and for all.
Yes.
Yeah. We've seen that before. Gus Malzahn. We just brought the guy up.
Yeah. Exactly. So.
Except he doesn't have. All he has to do is win 8 or 9 wins, and he can ride that one out until he, is.
He's
Mitch McConnell's age.
He'll do better than that at Central Florida, though, especially once Texas and Oklahoma leave. I think they could be one of the teams that maybe run that conference. They got all the money in the world.
Dr. Balls, you reside in Kentucky. What are y'all going to do about this whole Mitch McConnell thing? Because that poor guy's falling apart.
We're worried to death that the governor might appoint somebody that's not a Republican. So they're probably.
What's wrong with that? There's been plenty of great Americans that weren't Republicans.
Anyway, in this case, it would give too much control of the Congress, so they got to figure out an alternate plan. But he might die, and then they'd have an election. But the governor can appoint whoever he wants thanks to our Constitution. So,
but look, even if you do have a Democrat or a Democrat senator in there for a couple of years, I mean, he'll eventually get voted out because Kentucky's a rather blue state.
Yeah, but
red state.
You could
blue and basketball, red to your cold.
Right now, the stuff they're proposing is so preposterous. We want to block it any way we can. That's the only thing Mitch McConnell's good for.
Here's what I'm going to do, and we're fixing to have to go to a commercial. That's what they say we got to do now. Before I go, though, I have to say this. I don't see that there would be a big difference if a Democrat actually was there. McConnell is
man. I want it gone too. That's the whole bad thing about it. I want it gone too. So
McConnell doesn't know where he's at right now. Bless his heart.
All right, we'll be back. We'll be back, guys.
Boy, that's mediocre.
Then what the are you doing?
I was drinking that.
No, you were surviving it. Give excitement a try with Bones Coffee. Click on the link below to order some for yourself. Here. Whoa is right. That substance you were sipping before is what we in the industry refer to as ass water. Sure, it technically has caffeine, but at Bones Coffee, we believe in the experience of waking up every morning looking forward to that first tasty cup. That's why we roast carefully selected beans in small batches to perfection, so you can count on quality in every cup. And not only that, Bones has a ton of fabulous flavors from which to choose.
Bang! Did someone mention flavors? Highland Greg, pleasure to meet you.
What'll it be, Greg?
I've been hankering for the spiced rum flavor of Highland Grove, please.
Greg, I'm surprised by the size of your bagpipe.
Ugh, it's not the size of the bagpipe that matters, laddie.
Yeah, it's how hard you blow it. Yeah, let's leave the talking to me.
Oh, gee, I just got back from chasing some hosers out of the grilling rink. I could go for some maple bacon coffee right about now.
Coming right up.
Hey, kid. You single?
Yeah.
That's why this place looks like
Here you are, my salty siren.
Thanks. I need the salted caramel chocolate pick-me-up after dealing with this loser.
How in the world are all these people getting in here? We just walked in. Click on the link below to stop drinking water and get yourself Bones Coffee today. Or maybe you don't want to click on the link below because you think, flavored coffee's not for me. That was Sarah G's experience. She says, usually flavored coffees taste chemically to me, but these do not. They have a really pleasant aroma and flavor. They do not leave that weird residue on the bottom of your mug like many flavored coffees do. And Cheryl S. says, I ordered this for my son's GF for a B-day. She loves it. Why, Cheryl, that's awfully nice of you. Unfortunately, they broke up and I can't return it. Frowny face. Well, that's awkward. At least she liked it, though. Stop settling for mediocrity and order Bones Coffee today.
All right. So you heard the
Welcome
man.
back
Go get
to
some.
Smacking Off the Podcast. I'm your host, Shannon Madden. I'm joined with Doug Phillips, as always, and one Bob Arthur. We're also joined on the line with Alex Bryan, Justin Pike, Landon Beeman, Shannon Russell, and who else is on this call?
Deion Sanders.
Deion Sanders, Coach Primetime, will be joining us in the studio.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
I want to hear about all his receipts.
He got them.
He got them. He coming. Oh,
He
wait.
coming?
No, I'm sorry. He's not coming anymore. He's here.
No, he's here.
He's here.
He was all up TCU's ass yesterday. I saw it. That's man. I can't believe you got it off of the first half. That was the boring part of the game. It was a close game, but man,
I wanted to watch the rest of it, but
dude, his son can ball.
Let's talk about Travis Hunter, though.
Ball.
Is he a dark horse Heisman candidate if he's going to keep playing both sides of the
I
ball?
think he's the front runner right now, dude.
No, he's talking about
That was TCU. This is a team that's known for their defense. Come on now. I got to give credit where credit's due. We were chatting in the Smacking Off chat yesterday while the game was going on with one Mr. Timothy Bailey, who was still dick riding TCU. We're still saying throughout the whole entire game, no, well, TCU's still going to win this game. They're still going to win this game. And I mean, they just kept throwing fucking bombs all day. Excuse me. One Mr. Sanders kept throwing bombs all day long. It was beautiful.
He messaged me today and said, man, Spencer Rattler should have transferred to OSU. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the country. He played nearly perfect yesterday.
Spencer Rattler.
Yeah.
Spencer Rattler at South Carolina, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, see.
How'd that game work out?
I love Tim Bailey, but even
how did that game work out, though? Even though Spencer Rattler was throwing bombs all day long, who was the victor in that North Carolina, South Carolina?
The North Carolina Tar Heels from the ACC.
Yeah, I believe that was on Mac Brown.
Yeah. See, the thing with him is he always, even when Oklahoma players leave Oklahoma, he is still all over their balls.
He is a Oklahoma.
That's true. It's absolutely true.
I'm just like, they're gone. They left you. Just stop. Focus on the guys you got.
Yeah, the ones that are out of jail.
Yes.
They whooped that ass. I can't even remember who they played, but I'm sure they were a great team for Oklahoma to play that well against them.
Arkansas, but the Butch Jones of Arkansas State.
Poor Butch. Bujo. Brick by brick, he's rebuilding Arkansas State into a national powerhouse. He just has to get over this.
They might have lost 73-0, but they're still life champs.
They are. All of those boys played their asses off. They played their hearts out, and they are the champions of life.
So I want to ask you and Doug, you're big Bama fans, obviously. What are you thinking about this quarterback situation? Because I got a bud named Alan Foxworth who, even after yesterday, says
I've chit-chatted with Alan quite a bit. I think that we're Facebook friends. But let me tell you something.
He might lose 3, he says.
Alex has been on the show a long time ago, correct? Doug?
He showed up once, I think. Alan.
Yeah. Alan and Alan. Yeah, I'm getting my dyslexia.
I've been on the show.
I remember Alan for sure.
Yeah. We didn't see anything from Alabama that I mean, in these little tune-up games, Saban don't show us very much.
We don't know anything.
No.
Nothing.
Milroe was he was efficient. He didn't throw very much, but we've got a dual threat thing going on. I think he rushed for about 40 or so. So and
you're getting your meat and potatoes next week.
Yeah, that we don't know, and that's just like with Georgia. You know, I'm not going to get all up in arms about a not a complete blowout by Georgia. I mean, but they won the game, and didn't give again. Who was that? UT Martin or whoever the hell they were playing.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I guess that's why the Colorado oh, help me here. TCU game. Yeah, TCU. They lost the game. I forgot all about TCU, even though they played for the national championship last year.
Did they?
The coffee.
I don't think they showed up.
I think, well, yeah. I mean, to be fair,
I don't think they showed up. Stayed
but
on the
again,
bus.
you are an Ohio State fan, so you probably might want to just be quiet before we start digging back through the history.
Well, listen, we go wide left here in Columbus. Okay, very, very wide left. So.
I can't believe Timothy Bailey is going to be in my house, and at some point in time, because he's going to have to take a shit or shower, he's going to be nude in my house. That's beautiful to me.
I thought you were kidding. He's going to be at your house.
He's staying at my house.
What is he camping there?
Sort of. Well, he's got to do the inflatable thing. I'm a little worried about that because Timmy's a big guy. Justin Pike already told us about that because their infamous hotel.
Yeah, the hotel. I was just going to say the hotel thing.
Yeah,
you're not going to molest him like that.
Which I think Timothy got the better of Justin on that because Justin was already pretty tore up when he got a hold of him.
Yeah,
Timmy's he don't drink, so Timmy was fresh. He was fresh for that fight.
He's pretty.
Yeah.
I still remember that shit. I remember Tim hitting me up, private message, and saying, "I'm driving to Justin Pike's hotel room right fucking now."
Yeah.
And I'm like, this has got to be a joke.
Motherfucker went on live stream and everything. It was there. It happened.
That was perfect.
It went down. Yeah.
It was true. We saw the evidence.
Anybody else see anything that was particularly noteworthy yesterday as far as something that really
team up north is the cringiest program of all time.
Look, and I just got on to Doug about this a minute ago. I didn't really want to talk about Auburn, and now we're gonna fucking talk about Michigan too.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out their whole little lining up and putting fours in the air. That is so hardball. Like that is the cringiest shit I've ever seen. Why are they the way they are? I don't know. But
Jim Harbaugh. That's the reason they are the way they are. He is the whole person.
I need those clowns to get brought down to earth this year. It needs to happen.
Yes, I'd love to see it. I hate Michigan, actually, Alex.
Good. You're a good man.
I'm not Michigan. I'm kind of soft on Michigan. I could go either way on it because we're down here. Really, I mean, who gives a fuck about Michigan football?
Right.
For the state.
I agree.
I was just tired of ABC telling me my whole life how great they were and never coming up to amount to shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, my whole life they have definitely been the antithesis of great. I mean, they've gotten good on a couple occasions, but I mean, that's been about it, man. Auburn's had more success than they have. Let's be real.
That is true.
That's facts.
Very true.
Pete's right there.
Yep.
Pour one out for my buddy Kenny tonight. Kenneth Ingram was actually going to do a sharpening iron segment later on this evening, but unfortunately, he's had a family situation come up and won't be able to join us. And our thoughts and prayers are with him tonight. So so maybe I will throw a little war. I can't do it. I can't do it. One of y'all gonna have to do it.
Should we spend
thinking about
time
tonight, though, brother?
Should we spend some time making fun of the Florida Gators?
I think we should.
I think they did a better job of it themselves than we ever could.
Say what?
I think they did a better job of it themselves than we ever could.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. Utah was absolutely. Florida was not in that game at all, and even in the slight occasion that it looked like, well, maybe they might come back, then they just wound up just shooting themselves in the foot, then grabbing a bat and hit themselves in the knee, and then hit themselves over the head. And I mean, it was awful. It was tough.
I was going to say, don't tell Florida fans that they weren't in that game.
From that game worse than Utah did.
Because Florida fans seem to think that they were a hop, skip, and a jump away from winning that game.
Yeah, they were up until the very end of it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I watched a little bit of that game, and that was not the story. The story was all Utah all night.
That game is even more of a blowout than it really was.
Yeah,
that was a backup quarterback that did that to him.
Yeah,
Can't wait.
and again, because I think Florida, the only like significant, they got a field goal early, and then they had the touchdown down there at the end, and I believe they converted for 2. So,
not to mention that was their first non-conference out-of-state game since 1991.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah, that was tough too because they'll definitely remember that one.
Oh yeah,
throughout the season, and
forever.
I know everybody else was.
They got beat by a bunch of Mormons.
Well, look, they may be able to turn it around somehow, but I don't think Napier's the guy for that job. I don't know who is the guy for that job down there.
And it's not even his fault because, the program was in a really bad, kind of a bad place with Mullen, all that stuff. So we all kind of knew when he took that over, it was going to be an ugly time, I think. But listen, if you watch that Swamp Kings documentary, you basically get the gist of they had.
Why would anybody watch that?
And it was horrible because they omitted a lot of shit.
There's no reality in that whatsoever. Yeah. They keep it all on the fuzzy and the positive. It's a warm fuzzy sweater that has a big Florida alligator on it. Who gives a flying fuck?
But you still get the idea from that Florida.
You have to be really. You either got to be a Florida fan or just really hard up to watch something about college football in that moment, and I'll just cut this on.
Right. Yeah. But you really just get the sense that Florida had to sell their souls to win those national titles back in the day.
Aaron Hernandez, what?
Yeah. So they're going to have to sell their souls again if they want to get back to that point, I think.
Well, it's not going to
happen. Kind of like Auburn did when they hired Hugh Freeze.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
And we know what Hugh Freeze is capable of, so he'll probably do the same stuff again to get ahead for sure.
Money is the root of all evil. Now we have all of this. Just completely inflated coaches' salaries. We have NIL floating around. There's just so much money in college football now more than ever.
Right.
It's astonishing. It's astonishing, and of course we're seeing the slide in morality, particularly with more successful or just cash rich programs.
Exactly.
Again, can't. I'm not going to hate on it because I was like a major proponent for his hire, but the Hugh Freeze hire at Auburn, there's a lot of the Auburn faithful that are still unhappy with that hire because of what Hugh Freeze did in Ole Miss with his penis and company cell phones.
Yeah, true.
I
try to forget that.
There's a lot of here in Alabama. There's a lot. I got a lot of Auburn friends on my Facebook feed. I can't help it.
Right?
Can't either because some of them actually went to that god awful school. And they're still pretty upset about it, and they feel that Auburn sold out. And but who else are you going to get? They they have the situation they're in right now. They have no choice but to ride this one out. And I still think Hugh Freeze is the guy. I really do. He didn't show me any reason that he wasn't yesterday. But then again, we're not in the middle of the schedule yet.
We're gonna see as they go along. You look at their schedule. Texas A&M's pretty. We'll see how they are. If Jimbo Fisher
better be hungry to win some games this year, because I'm gonna tell you what, this is going to be make or break year. If he comes out 7-8 wins, it's just not going to work anymore.
His success depends on if he lets Bobby Petrino run the offense or not.
Yeah, and he doesn't, it depends on whether he's still a bitch or not too. Because
he's always a bitch. Shannon, he's always a bitch.
But he has really gone into overdrive these past few years, and you know it. I know it. The American people know it.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
He's been on his period for like 3 years.
All right, we'll be back here in a minute.
His ass period.
Hey, little bear. Gonna be a good boy?
Don't worry, darling, about the rest of our lives.
From this day forward.
Through thick and thin,
come on, baby.
I'll be there by your side.
Oh, I'm gonna love you forever. Hey there.
So what was that commercial? It really made me want a dog.
I think it was for furniture. It might have been a furniture commercial, or it might have been a commercial for sweaters. I don't know. I really wouldn't pay.
You guys have really leveled up. You got commercials and stuff now.
We have always had commercials,
but like you got like top tier commercials now. Those coffee commercials.
Hey! Doyle Hargraves Construction. It propped this show up for what 3, 4, 5 years.
Yes.
He didn't really pay us any money, but we never got any money from him, did we?
No.
He just kind of disappeared. I think he's dead now.
Goodness.
That's what I heard.
That's not funny.
All right. What else?
I mean,
Bob,
really,
how'd you like
that's what
your
I'm talking about.
Wildcats?
I think they look good. They really wasn't prepared well. It's a good thing they was playing a cupcake, but they looked like they had an offensive line until one of the main guys went down. So we'll see what shape he is at and tell us specifically what the injury was. But overall, I think they've improved drastically, and they're going to beat Florida. So when we were talking about Florida and the inability to quickly rebuild the program, and I think Utah out physical Florida, and Florida made a lot of boneheaded mistakes. And I think when they play Kentucky, they're going to lose because UK is more physical than Florida. So that's what I'm seeing for Florida's future and for Kentucky's future.
Did anybody get a? Go ahead.
Louisville had a comeback victory against Georgia Tech. It was pretty impressive the way they come back. They scored 26.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And I found that to be impressive, even though I hate Louisville. But I found it to be impressive. So the Brian Brom era begins.
Did anybody get a glimpse at Tennessee?
I heard Milton didn't look the greatest.
Well, again, I don't expect any team that's worth their salt coming out against these little tune-up games to show their some more serious, more powerful opponents everything in their toolbox. You know,
I look at the stat line; it's not bad though. For
game film, according to Tim Bailey, game film is the most important thing that you have, and if you don't have game film, that's going to be the thing that.
I don't agree with
no game film at all. That was his contention as we were watching the TCU Colorado game, or should now I should say the
why
Colorado
no game film?
TCU game.
Why no game film? Because Colorado had so many transfers.
Yeah, but I mean, then you look at the teams that they all transferred from, or you put some guys on it or something. I mean, you know,
But you don't get to see the scheme. You don't get to see them play in the scheme, the prime time scheme, man.
Well, but I mean, the primetime scheme. I'm sure you can go back and look at his game film at what was that, Howard, that he was coaching at?
Jackson State.
No, Jackson State.
Jackson State.
Who lost today, I believe. Yeah, for them.
I will say this though. Speaking of Auburn, did anybody pay attention to Cal yesterday?
Cal Golden Bears?
The California Golden Bears, who Auburn has to face coming up. They played a very extremely good North Texas team, 58-21. And North Texas is another one of those teams that has a notoriously good defense. So, or has traditionally had a notoriously good defense. You know, their Conference USA were the Conference USA champions, I believe, last year.
Wasn't North Texas the one that beat Arkansas not long ago?
Yep. So California really, really handled business between them. So I'm really expecting a good California Auburn game here.
That'll be an interesting one.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Everything is shaping up that they might match up pretty good on that one. I believe Auburn's on the road for that one, are they not?
Yeah, I don't see Auburn going to Cal and winning. I don't. It could happen.
I do expect a good game though, and it could happen.
Yeah, it'll be competitive.
Are they going to let Hugh Freeze on the plane if they lose?
Well, I mean, that's Auburn. They kind of have to. That's what I'm saying. They're stuck together. Auburn and Hugh Freeze are stuck together at the hip, whether they like it or not, unless he completely loses every single game, all the rest of the games this season.
See, they hired Hugh Freeze because he has 2 wins against Alabama, right? They fired a guy who has 3 wins against Alabama.
Yeah.
So what the fuck are they? What's going on at Auburn?
Now, if you stand back and look at Hugh Freeze's entire career, dude's balled and won everywhere he's been. What he was able to do with Liberty, it was nothing short of incredible.
Very true.
You know, if the guy wasn't a coach, then Liberty would have been a 7-6 team or 7-5, 7-6 team every year. You know, maybe 8-5. You know, with sneaking a bowl win every once in a while. No, he actually took them to levels that they had never been in that program.
That is true.
So,
but it looks like he's able to
was doing a great job at Ole Miss, except for that one thing with his penis. And the company's
Jesus Christ.
The true story. It really happened. It happened so bad that Nick Saban could not hire him for an offensive coordinator. I don't know. In the middle of all of this other stuff going on, did anybody catch that story this week?
What story?
There was a story ran, I believe, in AL.com here locally, talking about how Hugh Freeze was considered for the offensive coordinator job in 2017. Wow. Ole Miss was still under sanctions.
Oh, damn.
Well, guys, I'm going to go ahead and I forgot to put our warning stream up before we kick in. I'm going to go ahead and throw it up now. If you're watching this now, read this. If you're a child, you need to get the fuck out.
Yeah, you need to get your ass in bed.
That's a great warning.
And if
I love
you're
that.
13 or older, go grab you a Cosmo, go rub one out, go to sleep, play some Nintendo Switch before you go to bed.
Hell yeah.
Study hard and take your vitamins and say your prayers. That's what Hulk Hogan used to say.
That's right, brother.
It worked for Hulk. It really did.
I did, sort of. That and the anabolic steroids.
So are you guys worried about Texas next week?
No.
I mean, they might beat it. They might beat us. I'm not worried about it, though.
In Tuscaloosa.
I mean, it could happen. It's not the strangest idea I've ever had.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, we have a quarterback that I'm not sure what's going to happen if they can line up, keep him in check from running, and force him to have to pass accurately. I don't know what we're going to be looking at.
I would hope that we have a similar game as we had last year, which I know was scary for Alabama fans, but I don't know. I expect a little bit of a tighter contest because I don't see Alabama moving the ball a whole hell of a lot until they find their stars.
Problem with
they may have already found their stars, and we didn't see it in this previous matchup just because.
If you're thinking about last year, the problem that I see right out of the gate is that we don't have that caliber of a quarterback. I know we don't.
And we don't have a quarterback that is going to single-handedly win us games that we would probably not normally win.
But we're at home, so that could help.
Tyler Buckner comes in second half and leads the comeback and ends all Asian racism in the South.
No, that'll never happen.
Oh, okay. I just floated that out there just to see if it's still.
They can talk all that shit about they built the railroads and this, that, and the other, but it don't matter. That's the white man's land that we stole fair and square.
Yeah, and that was a long time ago. None of us seen any film of that. Nobody even knows if it happened.
That may have not even happened. The
railroads could have been here forever.
Yeah, they might have already been here. The dinosaurs may have done the railroads.
It's possible.
Yeah,
that's fair.
All right.
Did you watch the railroads?
Did I watch what?
Did you watch them build the railroads?
I did not.
Did you see that footage? Did you see the footage of them when they first built the railroads?
No.
Well, there you go.
See, you just nailed it. All right. So, what else? I know some other shit happened yesterday.
Well, Baylor and who else? Which other Big 12 team lost a game they shouldn't have yesterday? Baylor
TCU.
And no,
according to Las Vegas, TCU wasn't supposed
Baylor
to.
And Texas Tech. That's who it was.
Yeah,
we could find out at some point. At some point, we could find out that TCU should have actually won the game. It's possible.
For sure.
Because I mean, I know that
if we had
Colorado was on
right
fire
now, he would break it all the way down for us exactly why TCU actually won the game. It's just for some reason or other they awarded it to Colorado.
But we got to see Dave Aranda's team get absolutely embarrassed, really, by Texas State. So that was kind of funny to watch. I don't know if Tim Bailey can come up with
Not
excuses
Texas
for
Tech,
that.
not Texas. Texas.
Yeah, Texas State. Yeah, I don't know if Tim Bailey can come up with excuses for those Big 12 atrocities yesterday.
Well, he's going to tell you that Baylor didn't have a chance anyways, and yada yada this side.
He'll say some penalties happened that were egregious.
Baylor just got outplayed.
Yeah,
That's
they did.
tough.
They got smoked.
Yeah, so they just wasn't good enough. I don't know how to put too many other ways, but they weren't good enough. So
Yeah,
that's a rebuilding year. They only
Big
won
12's
6
pretty
games.
embarrassing. I don't think they're gonna make the college football playoff this year at all.
Goodness.
I think that's a safe bet. That whole conference is just pretty mid.
Pac-12 is looking
Colorado's
strong,
headed there next year.
Yes, Colorado will probably make the college football playoff next year.
What if they make it this year?
That would be obviously Prime's coach of the year.
I mean, they got a couple. They got a couple tough spots in their schedule. To be
a
sure,
lot of them, yeah, for sure. Their win total over under is 3.5, so nobody expects them to do. I mean, if they go to a bowl game, Prime
they
deserves
just
coach of the
beat
year.
TCU, man. Come on, they're going to win at least 8 games this year.
That's a stretch, bud.
Did you watch the second half of that game, dude?
I did, but
Deion
let's
Sanders squirted out like Peyton and Eli Manning all in one kid, one squirt.
But
both quarterbacks into one quarterback threw for 500 yards.
They got to go at
Against a pretty
Oregon.
good TCU defense. Come on,
Trojans at home.
They'll beat Nebraska
at Utah. Oh well, yeah. Well, if it's a 1-score game, they will absolutely beat Nebraska. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they can't win close games
because they can't
They're
win.
beating, they are beating Nebraska. Come on now.
They are. Oh yeah. Now that I've seen both play one game, and now that I know Nebraska has that one loss.
Where's that game at?
Game gene in them. It's at Colorado.
Is that Colorado? Okay. Yeah. If it was at Nebraska, I was gonna go ahead and pick the ups. Well, I don't know what the line is, but I would pick Nebraska to beat them.
Colorado -3.
Can you imagine the smack that Deion's going to talk, man? I mean, it's just going to be amazing. So if he beats another Power 5 team 2 weeks in a row while everybody else is playing theoretical cupcakes, he's going to talk smack. It's going to be unbelievable.
And then he's going to play Colorado State, who was also abysmal last year. And if he goes 3-0, he's already tripled their win total. So,
okay.
Yeah,
eventually, the sports writers are going to start to believe this shit.
Yeah,
they could go as high as 9-3. I think
it's possible. I mean, this is good. This is a decent team.
To be honest, USC has no defense, right? So even though Caleb Williams is obviously a phenomenal player, I've seen part of that. I was really impressed by him, but they have no defense. So what if they put 500 yards apiece up in that game?
What about Oregon? I mean, we're looking right past the Oregon game, which is the week before, and those are
that'll tell me everything I need to know about Colorado.
They got Nebraska, Colorado State, then you got Oregon and USC back to back. They're actually at Oregon and USC's there in Colorado. They're at Arizona State, which that should be a win. They're bringing Stanford home. That's actually probably going to be a win too. They're at UCLA. That might be a difficult game. They bring Oregon State. That, from what I've seen, they should be able to hang with them. Arizona, Washington State. Those are 2 wins right there. Should be. And then they got to finish it up with Utah, which is now shaping up. If they go in there into that game with a majority of the wins, that's going to be an interesting matchup.
Yeah, will be.
All right, so we got to do a commercial. When we come back, we're going to do Your Team Sucks Donkey Balls with Dr. Balls.
Excellent.
John, you got a portable air conditioner that can be used anywhere. It blew my mind. Where were you several years ago when I was playing select baseball, man, in the scorching heat in Texas? Right. Tell us how it works.
It's a true portable air conditioner. Here's the big deal. So Florida, South Texas, humidity, you can't make a swamp cooler work. There's already moisture in the air. Right. This is a true air conditioner. It actually pulls the moisture out of the air. So this thing, you can run it off a battery. Mm-hmm. You can run it off a 12-volt cord, off a 110. But this is what makes it unique.
How long does that battery last then?
6.5 hours on a single charge.
6.5 hours.
The great thing about it is you can use them indoors, outdoors. You can put it right in the tent with you. The idea is to be extremely portable. This thing is light.
It is light. I love the colors, by the way.
It works perfect for the new CU partnership.
That's right. Can you tell me about not just the innovation, but why?
A lot of your athletes, the people that like the U.S. Open, Australian Open, the Olympics, the athletes that are using these, it helps them get that one more rep. You're just dragging. You got the catcher back there just wore out.
Yeah. It's to me, it's revolutionary because not only how it works, but the price point of $289.
It functions as a normal cooler too. If you look on the inside, you're just putting ice in it. This is a 38 quart cooler, so you can throw your drinks in it, your food. But what makes it special is the patented heat exchanger coil system here.
Okay.
So the water is running through this coil system. The air runs across it. This thing is ice cold.
Pay attention to us. Do not look at Garner, all right? Garner's just having his own little game over here. Focus on us.
So when the air goes across this thing, it rapidly cools the air. The moisture sticks on there just like your car. You know, it's always dripping water out from underneath. This does the same thing. But it drips back inside the cooler, so there's no water dripping on the ground.
Wow.
So this is all self-contained. There's no exhaust. There's no condensation. It's literally turn it off and turn it on. And it doesn't take 20, 30 minutes to start cooling off. When you turn the power on,
it's going.
It's instant.
It's ready.
And it's blowing.
Made in the USA.
Yeah. Lifetime warranty.
Lifetime warranty. Show us how it works.
You've got on and off button.
Right.
It's got a low, medium, and high.
So you mean to tell me I could line a few of these up on the sideline and cool the kids off?
Absolutely.
And we have a game.
We have a dual AC splitter. It's all modular, snaps on. You can take these flex tubes.
That's what I'm talking
and connect them out like right here.
Right.
As far as that will snap in, you can actually take that and line these and have them blowing.
So
right
I
on your
could cool off the guy that just made a big play.
Yep.
And turn it off from the guy that gave up a big play. That's what you're saying.
That's right.
Oh, I got that. I like that. I like that.
Our battery, you can take these things, snap it on. Now you can take this anywhere you go, and this will charge your phone for about 6 days. You can plug the 12-volt cord into your cigarette lighter and charge your battery off of that if you don't have a 110 to be able to plug it on the normal charger. And we've got all different kinds of stuff, like an 8-foot corded remotes. So that way when you're on, like if the Gator, when you're out working with the kids out on the field, you can cut it on and off.
So I could just throw this on the back of the golf cart and connect one of these, and I'm cool.
At the end of the day, you dump the ice or water out of it, you throw all your components and stuff back in, and you wheel it back out to the car. So
This
you
is
just
unbelievable, man.
take it anywhere.
You got to be proud of this.
It's a quality product, which is we can do the lifetime warranty. It works. When I say hard and cold as an AC vent in your car, blowing on
No,
high,
you
it's
showed
hard.
me.
Yeah.
I mean, the first time you came, I was like, you got to be kidding me. And I love it. That's why we're here now. This right here is unbelievable. I can't wait for the public to get a hold of this thing and say, dang, I like it, man. I think we hit all our points.
Yeah, we sure did.
And we don't have to make this stuff up because it's authentic.
But, Coach, I appreciate
you, man.
Non più tra i farfalloni amoroso, notte e giorno di torno girano, delle belle turbando al riposo, narcisetto giro d'amor. Delle belle turbando al riposo, narcisetto giro d'amor.
Welcome, college football fans, to another weekly installment of Congratulations, you lost, and your team sucks donkey balls.
All right, guys, what's up?
So we used to go after coaches on this, but we ain't gonna fuck with coaches this year. We're just going directly after the whole fucking team, right?
I think that's a good idea.
Oh yeah, especially since they're getting NIL, right? If you're going to get paid like that, right? And if you don't play well, I think it's your fair game.
Yeah, I mean, some of these guys are making as much as the fucking coaches.
Oh yeah, I mean, so who do you think? I mean, we're looking right off the bat, right? But we got to talk about head coaches. I mean, you got Florida. Your team sucks donkey balls, right? I mean, you lost to Arizona by being inept, right? Which is a result of coaching, right? Obviously, they weren't as prepared, and they couldn't play as physical football. So he's been there. This is his second year, so he's not playing as physical as a Pac-12 team. I don't know if that's going to cut it in the SEC. So, what do you think?
No, I don't know. It's not really going to shock me if they start going after him this year, because I mean, I seen Florida was making mistakes that he's had plenty of time to correct. Am I right?
I agree with that 100%. You know, and and I believe that they're going to lose to Kentucky. And I don't believe, even though you and I have talked about this, I don't believe that most Florida coaches don't survive losing 2 times in a row to Kentucky. Right?
But if it was going to happen, it would be now, would it not?
Yeah, I mean, you got to give a coach a 3-year leash. Do you think they'll give him a 3-year leash at Florida? That's usually how it runs.
See, here's the problem. Now, when do they play Kentucky?
What is it? The 4th week of the season?
Yeah, it's into almost October.
Yeah, September 24th, I believe.
Yeah, I mean the problem is they could lose to Kentucky and they could still end up above 500. I think what did they do last year? They were barely above 500 last year, were they not?
Yeah, so they went to the also ran bowl or whatever they called it, but that's really not good enough. Yeah, they've got expectations higher than that in Florida. Don't you guys agree with that? I mean, even though they're not reasonable to us, their fans have expectations higher than that.
I'll say this: if he gets to 7 wins this year, he'll get a 3rd season.
Yeah. But 6 or less though.
It's
bowl. Yeah,
anybody's guess.
Go ahead and start calling for his head now. Now, whether they actually take it or not,
the problem is
on what other coaches are available.
Exactly.
I mean, you
can't fire somebody and not have somebody better to come in and take their place. The problem is Auburn's done this before. You fire somebody and end up with somebody. You know, Auburn did exactly this. They did exactly this. They ran out Gus Malzahn, which was a consistent 7 or 8 wins.
Yeah.
And they run him out and then brought in Harsin, and it was a terrible fit.
So obviously didn't work. And then so what about South Carolina guys? I felt that they were very disappointing, and even though they recovered an onside kick in the second half, they couldn't get much momentum out of that.
You know, Hootie Blowfish said they were going to win by 90. It didn't happen.
No, I think it was just Hootie. I don't think it was the Blowfish.
Oh, his name's not Hootie Blowfish?
No, it's just Hootie. It's Hootie and the Blowfish. So it's Hootie and the Blowfish is the band.
So yeah, what's his name? Hootie what?
Huh?
Just Hootie? Just Hootie?
Yeah, it's just Hootie.
Okay.
He looks exactly like that country star now, that Darius Rucker dude. You ever
He looks a little bit like him.
They almost sound like too. It's weird. It's like seriously. But Hootie's actually a white dude.
So anyway,
speaking of white dudes, did anybody watch the old guy on ESPN yesterday?
Who?
The old guy that puts the headgear on and shit.
You talking about Corso?
Absolutely.
You
don't even have to say his name.
Wear that headgear anymore?
He's a fucking legend. He barely got the headgear on. His hands were shaking so bad he almost didn't get the headgear on. He's such a fucking legend, and I realized the guy's got to have something to do. And I know I'm going to sound like a fucking asshole, but it's time to just bring Steve Spurrier in or something and do something else.
Why Steve Spurrier doesn't have a full-time TV gig? Well, and look, to be fair, probably Steve Spurrier, after the career that he's had, probably doesn't want to do anything else at all. He's out there fishing and chilling,
playing golf.
He always looks even more tan, slightly more tan than he did the year before.
He drinks a few beers, I've heard.
Yeah, it happens. Pat Dye made it like 80. So
Pat's not drinking beers anymore.
No, Pat's not drinking anything anymore.
All right, so who else sucked? Donkey balls there, Robert.
Well, we got to talk about, obviously, we got to talk about TCU. Just like Shannon said, they were in the Natty just last year, even though they lost it. And then they come up a game against this that has 60 players. I mean, there's 60 different players. Now, I know Bailey said that they couldn't make any kind of tape on them, but surely they could have looked at Jackson State and see what the scheme was, expected it. And the quarterback of Jackson State, Shadur, is Coach Brown's son. I mean, they know what he's going to do or what they're trying to do. So I believe you could prepare for that game.
I really think that the national perception was, and I would probably assume TCU's perception was too, going into that game, that we're going to show them these younger, lesser players that are playing for a lesser league. what big time football's all about. And you saw the game.
They were wrong, obviously, because they
Coach Prime got receipts.
So, and also another Big 12 team that sucks donkey balls. You know, he was talking about Baylor, and you know, they were 27.5 point favorite in that game. To lose the way they did and simply get outplayed, that was awful. You know, and it's all the preparation. That's why a lot of teams don't play 4 or 5 teams earlier in the year. And that's why I got to throw my hat off to Deion Sanders for. If you look at his schedules, they're not the greatest 5 teams there is, but in a row, he's starting the season to play those kinds of teams. Then you got Boise State, guys. Your team sucks donkey balls. Boise State has had some artificial success over the years and a few major minor successes. And Washington just destroyed them. And then Michael Penix Jr. threw for almost 500 yards, 5 touchdowns. I mean, they just crushed them. Boise State is done. Right.
Shout out to the dog father, Bruce Martinez.
That's right.
He's our resident Washington guy since Tiggy cannot be found.
Tiggy's retired.
And he's a USC guy now.
Yeah. So Washington's got I believe Washington has a lethal offense. It's going to be real interesting. And the Pac-12 is going to be better than the Big 12. And I think I have to agree with Alex earlier that
isn't that
Pac-12
crazy?
Sucks donkey balls.
The Pac-12 actually has the potential to be better than the Big 12 this season.
That's what I believe in the Big 12. Like I meant to say, because
they better savor it.
Yes, they suck donkey balls.
Well, I'm saying the Pac-12 is fixing to be like a group of 5 conference, right?
Yeah, but wouldn't that be crazy if now that suddenly the Pac-12 is on the way out and they somehow sneak a team into the playoffs, USC or God forbid, Colorado?
I'd love to see Colorado. I love Coach Prime because he talks smack, guys, and lots of it. You know.
That would be epic.
More of that.
The media would love that shit.
Oh yeah,
I love it, man. I mean, we're talking about Deion Sanders. What a career this man has had.
But I don't believe it'll happen.
He followed it up with his very first Power 5 win in his very first game in a very decisive contest with his own son, riding his own son like a champion stallion, and just get finger pointing everybody on the way down. I love it, man.
I'd have to look at their schedule, but I got a feeling that they're going to go down hard a couple times.
It could happen.
But they got a 2-way.
I'm riding this wave, though. I love it. This is good times. This is happy feelings, and I'm riding this wave. I'm here for it.
I'm with it too, Shannon. They got a 2-way player. We love 2-way players. You know what I'm saying? So they got a 2-way player, and Deion knows how to coach it. So I think it's going to be exciting.
You know what I'm talking about.
That's right. You can take all kinds of entendres, you know, especially with our viewers are everybody, though. We love our viewers. They can have it any way they want, like Burger King.
All right, guys. It was fun, and we got our second episode in the bag and our first live cast, and we will see you guys next Sunday, right?
Awesome, guys.
Jesus.
Oh, and don't forget about the Life Championship reveal Tuesday night.
Ooh, yeah, that's very important. Life Champion is the foundation that this program is built on.
Yes, and it's the top 10, and we got voters that are sure to piss you off. If you've got a team that struggled on Saturday, look out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Later, guys.
Later.
Thank you for supporting Smacking Off the Podcast and College Football Dogs. And don't forget to stream in each Sunday evening for a live episode at 9 p.m. Eastern.